So that's why they wanted Project Big Picture. That was to reduce the Prem from 20 to 18 teams, completely scrap the League Cup and the Community Shield. That's so they can play more games around the world in front of foreign crowds. The football world is on its knees and the billionaires have pounced. Ever since last night when the news broke, I've been watching videos and reading articles, and my brain has just been ticking over with what the European Premier League means for football. It's been in the subconscious of the world of football for some time now, but now seems like the time that the mega clubs are serious. I made a video recently about the plight of non-league clubs in Scotland. Basically, financially, they're So what better time for the rich to get richer? Dangle a little carrot in front of the small clubs in disguise as a bailout package. But in reality, the stick isn't far behind. That stick being that world football becomes a racket controlled by just 18 clubs from 5 countries. In a world where the World Cup is sold to the highest bidder, the game is now less about fans and more about how much money they can make. So let's look into some of the finer details of the European Premier League. So looking at the dates, the European Premier League could start as early as 2022, around the time of probably the most controversial World Cup bid of all time. The Qatar World Cup will be played at some point in that year as well. Remember the uproar that happened when they announced that the Qatar 2022 World Cup was to be played in winter? Maybe this is all just part of their bigger plan. By they, I mean the bigwigs who control football and use the fans and the teams as their puppets. They'll cancel the Champions League/Europa League, play some weird kind of mega World Cup, and then move on to the franchised European Premier League. The franchised, closed off Premier League, should I say. So yeah, 2022 could be the start of this thing. I don't think it'll be the end of the Premier League, but I do believe that it will be the end of what we've called the Champions League since the early 90s and the European Cup way before that. This thing could take over 30 weeks to be completed from start to finish and would basically just give the European mega clubs a chance to play each other on a more weekly basis. Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City make more money playing teams like Bayern Munich and Juventus than they do playing the Maribors, the Sparta Pragues and the Dynamo Kievs of the world. Sorry Maribor, Sparta Prague and Dynamo Kiev fans, I still love you. So instead of these random Champions League games that you'd always look forward to see where the clubs were playing, will probably come to an end and they'll just play each other on a more regular basis. Will this diminish the feeling of these big games if they're played every bloody week? So the teams, just give me 2 seconds and I will come on to the 18 teams who are said to be contesting this massive mega tournament. Will the clubs leave their current league systems? Probably not. Not for now anyway. If I put my coffee down for a second and put my conspiracy hat on, I don't think that the European Premier League is the end game for these massive mega billionaires. It's a stepping stone for them to put in motion their big plan. Friendly competitions in foreign countries in recent years have shown these bigwigs how much money is in football globally. Cast your mind back to about 2005. Premier League teams would go to Austria for training camps and play smaller teams like St. Gallen. Somewhere between then and now, clubs have gone from competing in more localised friendly games to playing all over the world in what are known as international champions trophies, I believe. Those friendly tournaments where you'd get Liverpool playing Man United in the States, Real Madrid playing Man City in Melbourne. You get my drift. The old owners of the 90s are gone, and the mega rich, billionaire, JP Morgan backed, dividend reliant owners of the future are here to ruin the game. And they see dollar signs. Certain teams from England, Germany, France, Spain and Italy have been on UEFA's back for years in order to play more games against each other. They've pressurised UEFA, and what UEFA have done have bent over, pulled their pants down and let the clubs do what they want. So yeah, just looking at a few of the things that UEFA have done for the clubs, they've obviously changed the Champions League pots so that more of the bigger teams could play each other. They've changed in international dates so that they could have more games against each other, and they're at the beck and call of the club's big wishes. Why do you think, these countries have so many automatic Champions League spots already? And just look at FFP, that's an absolute joke. City and PSG should have been banned. And what did they get? A fine. These oil-rich state-backed clubs probably consider fines a part of their outgoings just so they can continue cheating. And UEFA are too spineless to do anything about it. So who are these 18 teams? Right, this is where it gets pretty annoying. Man City are obviously one of them. Why do they deserve precedence over other teams? This is why the soul is being ripped out of football. They obviously think they're better than everyone else just because they've won the lottery. When I was growing up, they were absolutely They finished 16th in 2004 and had Antoine Sibieski up front. Then completing the English teams, it looks like it's going to be Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea and Arsenal. It's very up in the air to see if Spurs will be included, weirdly enough. Yes, Tottenham, who haven't won a trophy since the League Cup in 2008, want to be a part of the European Super League, the Premier League, the elite club. The others are likely to be PSG's, Bayern's, Dortmund's, Juve's, Inter's, AC Milan's, Barca's, Real Madrid's, Atleti's. That leaves a few spaces for a couple of other clubs, so I was thinking maybe Monaco, just so the Billionaires could go from yacht to football stadium with ease. Then, yeah, there's a couple more spaces up for grabs after that, so yeah, maybe Spurs, they've got the stadium to go along with it, I suppose, and then potentially Napoli, Roma, maybe Lyon. There are talks as well of maybe letting in one or two teams from other countries, such as potentially Turkey, or the Netherlands, so maybe you'd see an Ajax or Galatasaray. Whether that be every season, I don't know. It might just be for the one odd off season or whatever. But it's up to the clubs to decide, so if one team gets too powerful, they can probably just sack them off anyway, so. I wouldn't be doing my job though without giving a balanced argument from both the negative and the positive sides. So what are the positives of this deal? Imagine a holiday to Dubai when whilst you're there, Liverpool are playing Bayern Munich, Juve and Barcelona in a group. It would be pretty sick. But I don't think the fandom would be there. It'd be more like one of these international friendly tournaments, which I just spoke about. The fandom won't be the same and it won't have the same soul and feel as a European game at Anfield does. But yeah, you could imagine like a cool holiday to Singapore or something like that to watch a massive game. It would be class, but it wouldn't quite be the same. And when it comes to football anyway, it is the biggest sport in the world, the most watched sport in the world, and this would just increase its global exposure. However, there are a lot of negatives. So yeah, the negatives: how will fans be able to watch the games away from home? How can working class fans who this sport was originally meant to be for expect to fly out to Bangkok on a weekly basis to see their team play, if that is the case and they are playing it globally? Even not, like there's going to be so many European games that they won't be able to get to. Games are to be played in accordance to worldwide TV viewing times, which absolutely kills me. Do you know why games in England are traditionally Saturday 3 p.m. kickoffs? That's because in working class cities up and down the country, people would work Monday to Friday and then have a half day on Saturday. The Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff was in place so that workers could leave their workplace, the factories, and go and watch the game. A small release in what was probably a very tough life. What that's done is create a love and a passion from local communities for their local football teams. The European Prem is pulling these teams away from their adoring fans and just putting them in the pockets of these mega rich billionaires. Will it kill the fandom? Probably yes. And yeah, I'm just looking into what it will also mean for small clubs and young players. So let's just take a second to go back and look at Project Big Picture for a second. To be honest, I'm a Liverpool fan and nothing the club has ever done has disappointed me more than this. I'm sure that Shankly and Paisley would be turning in their graves, and to call this big picture is absolutely taking the piss. The only big picture it's helping is their own. Within the big picture, they wanted to scrap the League Cup. The League Cup in England is the best League Cup competition in the world. It counts a lot and it means a lot for young players who get these opportunities in this competition to play in men's senior competitive football, and it's a valuable experience for them. It also means a lot to the small teams who want to get a draw against one of the big teams and play a Premier League team at their small ground. Also, let me take you back to 2012. I was a young Liverpool fan inside a Wembley with my mate, watching the Reds lift their first trophy at the new Wembley. We beat Cardiff, just. It was my first and only time to this date watching Liverpool lift a trophy at a game, and these moments will be taken away from fans. The elite clubs want to take these opportunities away from fans and small clubs and keep all the opportunity for themselves, whilst the rest of football probably just diminishes. And what does that mean for the rest of football then? If there's just one big mega rich competition that all the players want to play in, then just imagine a world where Everton bring through a Rooney or Newcastle bring through like a Shearer. The big elite clubs will snap him up, market him into one of the biggest and best stars in the world, and then the smaller clubs will be left with nothing. Yes, this happens to an extent now, with the bigger, richer clubs being able to attract, players from smaller clubs, but with an elite closed off, racketed league, this will just get even worse and the gap will just get even wider. If there's not even a chance that the teams that they play for can compete against the big teams, then why stick around as a player? Part of the beauty of football is that Yeovil could technically go on a run and win the Champions League, as I've done with them on FIFA before. Yes, on Legendary mode. That'll be a thing of the past soon, so enjoy it while you can. Where's the help where it's genuinely needed? At the small clubs. They're talking about like a $6 billion package for this league where, you know, I visited a team the other week who are about to pull out of their league and clubs all around the world are going bust. The game might not be gone just yet, but it's going. And the big uns only want to help themselves. The plan in my eyes, or the big idea in my eyes from these clubs, is to drip feed us and to have this league first and then eventually have like 20 mega clubs that basically just play each other around the world on a regular basis. And like I say, they're drip feeding us eventually to get the power that they need. Once they have the power and these 18 to 20 clubs control world football, that's when the next stage will be rolled out. Because who's going to be there to stop them? Stadiums like Anfield will become redundant and these clubs will just fly around the world playing each other in exhibitions for big cash. Think WWE, but for football. The squads just fly around the world competing against each other and are marketed as absolute superstars. But they won't have that love and support that players have when they play currently for the teams that mean so much to the communities in which they play. And it's the supporters who are going to suffer the most. They're taking the game away from local fans and taking it all around the world. It's going to cost thousands to go to matches. But in a world where they're currently trying to flog Sheffield United v Fulham for 15 quid a pop, imagine what they're going to be charging fans for PSG v Juve in this brand new mega league. They know the fans are going to pay, so I think it's inevitable. Even during the pandemic, the fans are still paying out of their noses to watch their teams play. There's still some clubs that are charging people for season tickets even though there's no games on. How mad is that? We're addicted to the game as fans and just cannot stop consuming it. I just hope that the quality of football that we're able to watch as fans in person doesn't diminish because of this. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Please leave a like on this video and subscribe if you're new. Thanks very much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.